Anyone remember a few days ago when I talked about how the FDA and the CDC are no longer communicating about vaccine research as a result of RFK Jr.? Um, I talked about how that disruption in communication was probably going to result in like either bad or no flu vaccine next year. You guys remember that? Anyway, FDA cancels meeting of vaccine experts scheduled to advise on flu shots. The cancellation plays into fears among scientists who worry that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will use his position as health secretary to sow doubts about vaccines. A panel of scientific experts that advises the Food and Drug Administration on vaccine policy and that has been the target of criticism from the health secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., learned on Wednesday that its upcoming meeting to discuss next year's flu vaccines had been canceled. That's where we're at. Like, the yearly flu vaccines are going to be disrupted and either less effective this year or just not available at all. As one of the scientists noted, it's a 6-month production cycle. So one can only assume that we're not picking flu strains this year. And for those of you who are wondering, well, why do they need to pick flu strains? What's that all about? Because every year, every person who gets infected by the flu, the subsequent generations of flu produced in their bodies mutate. Meaning that every year, we have different strains of the flu. It's evolution in real time. And which means this year's flu strain isn't going to be next year's flu strain. Typically, what winds up happening is these scientists get together, they look at the data, and then they do their best to calculate which of these viral strains is going to be dominant in the coming year. And then they choose one, that goes into production, and that winds up being the flu vaccine we have for next year's flu season. So if folks are like, well, can I get vaccinated? Yeah, you can still go get vaccinated for this year's flu strain. But like, that's not necessarily going to help you a whole lot from next year's, you know? So it's not great. It's just really sad, you know? Like, last year, almost 500,000 people were hospitalized because of the flu. If we had more people getting the flu vaccine, that number would go down. And instead, we're going to have fewer people taking vaccines as a result of RFK Jr., which means more people in hospitals, which means more death. In a year when we're already facing down RSV, which is sweeping through various school systems, and we're also taking a look at new strains of COVID. We got a lot going on, and possibility of avian flu. God, if avian flu comes to fruition under RFK Jr., so many people are gonna die, chat. So many people are gonna die. What I went down the rabbit hole the other day, and like one of the worst case scenarios is that like avian flu has the ability to kill like 1 billion people. Because we do not have specific defenses against its particular attack pattern. It's really fucking scary. So I'm really hoping that avian flu doesn't become commonly transmitted person to person. Otherwise, it's going to be. I mean, we're gonna see hospitals in the parks again. You know. That's where we're going to be. Additionally, just as another point of what RFK Jr. is doing already to ruin and wreck your lives, he canceled a Biden project to create a vaccine for COVID in pill form. You could just take pills to vaccinate yourself against COVID. Wouldn't that be neat? Wouldn't that be cool? But no, that's canceled. That research been shelved. Apparently, they're going to be looking at it as they go forward. It may resume, it may not. We'll see. But one of the problems with pausing and putting a hold on all of this research, and this goes far beyond just what RFK Jr. is doing, but all the different research that the government does and contributes to across all different industries, when you put a temporary pause on that research, you actively ruin that research. Because you need to be constantly observing during those trials, during the research phases. You need people doing the research. It's a timed test. They've got to look, they've got to observe, otherwise it ruins the entire thing. Got to start over. It's wasting millions upon millions of dollars, if not billions. Is he trying to drift his own cures? What is he doing? What he's doing is just being an absolute lunatic. That's it. There's no reason to his madness. It's just new age hippy dippy nonsense. That's it. Evil or dogmatic? Why not both? Well, RFK Jr. doesn't have the ability to declare martial law. He's his own independently evil individual who is built in a lab to, appeal to divorced dads. That's basically RFK Jr.'s type.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, dating, plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack.